25 of Kevin Costner's greatest film roles. Kevin Costner has had some career-defining roles in some cinema classics, but not all of his films stand the test of time, although that's not always Costner's fault. In fact, the iconic actor has had some great roles and performances in some not-so-great films, and these parts deserve praise, too. So, to reflect on the legendary actor's four-decade-long career, here are the 25 best roles of Kevin Costner's career. Although he had several prior film credits, Kevin Costner's breakout was the 1985 Western Silverado. Directed, produced, and co-written by Lawrence Kasdan, Silverado features Costner as Jake, a goofy cowboy who evades authorities with the help of his brother Emmett, played by veteran actor Scott Glenn. The generally acclaimed movie also stars Kevin Kline, Danny Glover, Rosanna Arquette, Brian Dennehy, John Cleese, and Jeff Goldblum, but it was Costner who particularly impressed Glenn, who was only half-joking when he routinely referred to Costner on set as movie star. Silverado was a nice breakout, but The Untouchables was the first big-budget film to give Kevin Costner a shot as a leading man. Starring in the gangster movie as real-life Bureau of Prohibition agent Elliot Ness, Costner appears alongside Sean Connery, Andy Garcia, and Robert De Niro, the latter of whom portrayed Al Capone, Ness' nemesis. Brian De Palma's period piece netted 4 Academy Awards and a Best Supporting Actor win for Connery, with most of the cast, Costner included, receiving heaps of praise for their performances. Tom Farrell, No Way Out, 1987. No Way Out was Costner's second starring role in a row, and his second critically acclaimed hit. Loosely based on Kenneth Fearing's 1946 novel, The Big Clock, No Way Out has Costner playing Navy Lieutenant Commander Tom Farrell, a man on the run from government authorities trying to frame him for the murder of his lover, who is also the lover of his supervisor, the U.S. Secretary of Defense. However, all may not be as it seems in this Cold War-era thriller that is packed with twists and has a cast that also features Gene Hackman, Will Patton, and Sean Young. Crash Davis, Bull Durham, 1988. Kevin Costner is a lifelong baseball fan, and although his first baseball film, 1982's Chasing Dreams, was a flop, the next one, Bull Durham, was a bona fide home run at the box office and in most critics' minds. Veteran minor league backstop Crash Davis, Costner, gets demoted to the lowest level to mentor a young fireballer, Tim Robbins, in this 1988 romantic sports comedy by director, writer, and former minor leaguer Ron Shelton. Costner's character ends up falling for Robbins' flame, a baseball groupie played by Susan Sarandon. Although Sarandon eventually chooses the charismatic catcher played by Costner, it's Robbins who won in real life. After meeting during filming, Robbins and Sarandon began a relationship that lasted more than 20 years and blessed them with 2 kids. Ray Kinsella, Field of Dreams, 1989. On the heels of a successful baseball film, Costner's next movie was another successful baseball film. We're talking, of course, about the 1989 fantasy sports movie, Field of Dreams, which starred Costner as Ray Kinsella, a man who builds a baseball field on his corn farm after a mysterious voice tells him to do so. Based on the W.P. Kinsella book Shoeless Joe, Field of Dreams also starred Amy Madigan, Gabby Hoffman, James Earl Jones, and Ray Liotta, with the latter playing blacklisted Chicago White Sox player, Shoeless Joe Jackson. In addition to earning heaps of praise and $84 million at the box office, Field of Dreams is considered one of the greatest sports films ever made. Lieutenant John J. Dunbar, Dances with Wolves, 1990, directed, produced, and starring Kevin Costner in his directorial debut, Dances with Wolves was also the debut film of TIG Productions, a company founded and owned by Costner. And what a double debut it was, as the Western epic earned 6 Golden Globe and a dozen Academy Award nominations, winning 3 at the former, Best Picture, Director, and Screenplay, and 7 at the latter, Best Picture, Director, Screenplay, Score, Editing, Cinematography, and Sound. Also an overwhelming financial success, Dances with Wolves earned a whopping $424 million at the box office. Jim Garrison, JFK, 1991. In 1991, Oliver Stone released JFK, an incredibly accurate depiction of the events surrounding the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy and the subsequent investigation. Just kidding. Stone's portrayal of the events is racked with controversial accusations and conspiracy theories, but nevertheless received critical acclaim both as a whole and for Costner's leading performance as real-life New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison. Featuring a star-studded cast that also included Tommy Lee Jones, Kevin Bacon, and Gary Oldman, JFK nabbed 8 Academy Award nods, with 2 wins, and a Golden Globe for Best Director. Robin of Locksley, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1991. If you don't take the 90s interpretation of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, too seriously, it's actually pretty amusing. I mean, it takes place in England, and Costner doesn't even attempt an accent. Hilarious. Sure, Alan Rickman as the Sheriff of Nottingham and Morgan Freeman as Azim outshine Costner's Robin of Locksley, but he holds his own, even in the action sequences. And although the film also features Christian Slater in addition to Rickman and Freeman, it was Costner's 1991 level star power that brought in nearly $400 million at the box office. Frank Farmer, The Bodyguard, 1992. Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner starring in a romantic drama about a singer and the bodyguard tasked with protecting her life. Sign us up. The Bodyguard had a recipe for success from the beginning and did not disappoint, especially for fans of the late Houston. Her songs on the film soundtrack, most notably I Will Always Love You, nabbed 2 Oscar nominations and 4 Grammy nods, winning 3 at the latter ceremony, including Album of the Year. Costner did his part for the film, playing the stern but troubled protector with a colorful past and a heart of gold. Robert Butch Haynes, A Perfect World, 1993, one of director Clint Eastwood's most underrated films. A Perfect World stars Costner as an escaped convict from a Texas penitentiary who takes a young boy, T.J. Lother, hostage as he flees. Easily the best parts of the film were Costner's quietly cool character and the chemistry between him and his 8-year-old co-star as the duo gets to know each other while evading the authorities, played by Bradley Whitford and Eastwood. In A Perfect World, this 1993 drama would have garnered some Oscar attention, but it wasn't in the cards. Roy McAvoy, Tin Cup, 1996. After flopping with 1995's Waterworld, Costner returned to what he knows best, sports films, or more specifically, sports rom-coms. In Tin Cup, Kevin Costner plays Roy McAvoy, a skilled golfer who never had the motivation to make the U.S. Open but finally tries after being slighted by golf pro David Sims, Don Johnson. Raising the stakes, McAvoy develops feelings for Sims' girlfriend, Renee Russo, and decides to try to win her over as well. Thanks to its likable leads, Tin Cup was a box office success and generally well received by critics. Ringside Fan, Play It to the Bone, 1999.